Just as Nathan and the three others were about to leave the main street and enter the plaza, they suddenly heard a loud ruckus behind them. An extremely arrogant voice cut through all other nearby noises.
"Here! Go! Faster, you stupid beast! Out of my way, you peasant scum! I'll run you over, if I have to."
Nathan remained frozen in place, as Baylor, Stuart, and Sarah each turned simultaneously around towards the loud sounds of an approaching rider. A well-dressed man, clad in a golden cloak, dug his heels into his large white horse's sides. He was galloping down the main street towards the plaza and was headed right at them. Due to the high speed of the horse and the wealthy teenager's goading, there was no way the four of them could get out of the way in time. Dodging the incoming horse seemed utterly impossible, as Baylor closed his eyes and braced for impact. As for Nathan, he had plenty of time to move out of the way, but he was deeply insulted by the recklessness of the rider and his willingness to run his friends over. At the last moment, Nathan calmly stomped on the ground and blew up a huge gust of wind in the horse's face, causing it to rear up and come to a dead stop in the middle of the street, almost throwing off its rider in the process. The teenager on the horse gritted his teeth as he regained his balance and reined in his mount. Furious with Nathan and his friends, he waved a large horsewhip in his hands threateningly toward them.
"How dare you? Are you deaf or blind? Well, which is it? There's no other excuse for getting in my way after I ordered you to move."
Much to the dismay of Baylor and Stuart Lightstone, Sarah Hale immediately straightened her posture and shouted back at the furious teen. Nathan couldn't help but chuckle at her strong-willed nature.
"You should have given us more time to react, and more importantly, who the heck are you? Don't you know that riding this far into the city is illegal? What right do you have to order us around?"
Stuart did his best to pull Sarah out of the way, but she would not back down from the stranger on the horse. She was, after all, the eldest daughter of the High Lord Hale, and so she had learned from a young age how to stand up to angry little men who thought themselves to be of great importance. Nevertheless, Stuart tried his best to calm things down. The peacemaker of the group, he did not wish the matter to get any more out of hand, as he felt the eyes of nearby townsfolk begin to concentrate on all of them. He held up an apologetic hand to the angry stranger. "Apologies, good sir. My friend here is just a bit agitated. In any case, everyone's all right, and nobody got hurt, so why don't we just let the matter pass? We're all clearly the offspring of noble lords, apart from our one commoner friend here, so why not avoid a public fuss and protect all of our family's reputations?" As he spoke, Nathan noticed even more people stopping to gawk at the scene as a small crowd formed around them. Many of them were warriors who had come for the Doom faction trial count and were anxious to get a glimpse of the strength of those they were up against. As the teenager rider's face turned into a scowl, Nathan knew this matter would likely not end amicably, as Stuart desired. After all, there were only a few youths who would dare to ride a horse this far into the center of the city. Such reckless actions by the youth were definitely illegal, and for him to flaunt these laws so openly, he had to be someone of significance. Most likely another member of the Duke's personal family. That was the only reason he could think of that would explain why the Godricshall guards would turn a blind eye to such a blatant tomfoolery. Nathan suspected that this was partially why Stuart had wished to calm the situation, as he had spoken with a soothing tone that was neither humble nor arrogant. Although Lady Sarah Hale would have also recognized the status of the youth by now, she was not so forgiving. She could care less who the youth before her was. Nathan could tell by her expression that the only way she could let this matter go easily was if she received a public apology for almost running her over. Finally, the scowling youth spoke.
You fools may be of noble blood, but you're clearly far below my station. I am Alexander Godricson, second son to Preston Godricson, and grandson to the Duke himself."
Immediately, Nathan's face turned into a grimace.
"Alexander Godricson, huh? That must mean this fool is Roderick's younger brother. If this hothead is anything like the last one, he'll cause as much trouble as he can get away with. I truly must be cursed with poor luck for always finding myself in these crazy situations."
Before Nathan could respond to Alexander, Sarah Hale smirked.
"Congratulations, but nobody cares. All of us are children of the High Lords of the fiefdom. If you've got a problem with us, take it up with your grandpa. Otherwise, move out of our way and be gone with you."
Alexander stood tall on his horse as he looked down at Lady Hale's defiant expression. He thought his words would immediately cause them to beg for forgiveness and ask for his mercy, but in truth, it seemed to have the opposite effect. This vexed Alexander, who was used to always having things go his way. His entire life, he'd never heard the word no from anybody but Duke Godricson himself, not even from his own father. Therefore, this public scolding by some random girl struck a chord inside of him. His inflated ego barred him from simply letting the matter rest. Finally, Alexander sighed and calmly nodded.
"Very well, then. I shall take my leave."
Stewart and Baylor sighed with relief as Alexander led his horse around the four of them and made out as if he planned to leave them all behind. However, as soon as he was past Stewart, he swerved back around and aimed his whip at her face. Alexander channeled his spiritual energy through the whip and struck at Lady Hale with all his strength and hatred.
"Insolent woman! I'll teach you not to respect my family's name. Perhaps the scars from this will make you think twice before opening your filthy mouth."
Sarah Hale had no time to react to the attack. Even if she had the time, it would have been difficult for her to block the blow, as Alexander was a level 1 human fighter, while she was only a level 9 beginner. The treacherous sneak attack took the whole group by surprise, so even Stewart, who was standing right beside her, had no time to react as well. All he could do was watch in horror as the metal fangs at the end of the whip reared their way toward Sarah's horrified expression. Sarah blinked, and suddenly she realized the whip had disappeared. Instead, Nathan's blade hovered inches away from the front of her face. In a matter of milliseconds, Nathan had recognized the murderous intent behind Alexander's false retreat and had drawn his blade just in time to stop the whip from scarring Sarah's face. The remains of the whip fell to the street beneath them as Nathan stood before Sarah and eyed Alexander's shocked expression. The spoiled noble threw the stump of his whip to the ground and snarled atop his steed.
"Ha! I'd like to see you try that again."
Alexander swiftly pulled a second whip from his saddle and sent it flying back towards Nathan's face this time. This time, everyone's eyes widened in shock. Rather than cut the whip as before, Nathan had caught the ends of it in his fist and held tightly onto it. From atop his horse, Alexander pulled with all his might to get the whip back, but after 3 attempts, his face grew red from embarrassment. He felt the chuckles and whispers from the nearby crowd all around him.
"You rebellious bastard! Whoever you are, you better stop meddling in my affairs. Let go, at once, or I'll never forgive you. Do you understand that I have the power to ruin your entire family?"
Nathan smiled. As he spoke, he did so loud enough for all his friends and onlookers to hear. "Huh. You really are just like your older brother. First, you try a cowardly sneak attack against a noble lady, and now you threaten to murder my entire family? Congratulations. You've given me the perfect excuse to kick your ass." As Alexander looked into the eyes of his new enemy, his heart began to tremble.
Who the hell was this guy?
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.